Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Okay, today we're unpacking a situation that really shakes the foundations of global security. We're talking military strikes, international diplomacy, and, well, the incredibly high stakes of nuclear proliferation.
Yeah.
Our mission here is to extract the most vital insights from recent reports, recent analyses, and give you a really clear understanding of the fast-moving developments around Iran's nuclear program.
It's a compelling situation, absolutely. You see how military actions, these intricate diplomatic moves, and the whole architecture meant to stop nuclear weapons spread, they're all deeply interconnected.
Right.
We'll be looking at the immediate aftermath of these recent conflicts and, well, exploring what they really imply for the future.
Okay, let's pinpoint the catalyst then. This 12-day war, launched by Israel with U.S. support back on June 13th.
Yeah.
And this wasn't just a minor skirmish. The targets included Iranian military sites, sure, but also crucial nuclear facilities. We're talking Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan.
Key locations.
And alongside that, key military commanders and even nuclear scientists, U.S. President Donald Trump himself, stated pretty bluntly, we destroyed their nuclear sites.
A very direct statement.
And the damage seems extensive. Reports mention hits on centrifuge production facilities, active centrifuges too. Thousands supposedly damaged or destroyed.
Right.
And even some of Iran's uranium metal production facilities apparently took a direct hit.
The assessment here is pretty striking. These strikes, they say, effectively destroyed Iran's enrichment program, at least in the short term.
Okay, effectively destroyed. That's strong language.
It is. And the real insight, I think, isn't just the delay itself, but the strategic shift it forces. It makes Iran rebuild from a much weaker position.
Making them more detectable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any future attempts are now far more detectable, more vulnerable. It fundamentally changes the timeline for any, potential breakout capability. It ensures it's going to take a long time, as the reports say, for them to get back to pre-strike levels.
And beyond just the hardware, the infrastructure, there was this decapitation campaign.
Yes. Highly targeted.
Resulting in the killing of at least 14 nuclear scientists. And 11 of those were identified as senior managers or people affiliated with SPND.
Right, the Iranian Organization of Defensive Innovation and Research.
That's the one. Central to their pre-2003 nuclear weapons research, wasn't it?
Precisely. And what's often missed, I think, is that this isn't just about numbers, about headcount. It's about a very specific, highly specialized knowledge base.
Okay.
Their expertise, it covered explosives, nuclear coding, simulation, weapons testing, even foreign procurement networks, ballistic missiles, and theoretical work on gas centrifuges. So the Institute for Science and International Security assessed this has really weakened Iran's base for building nuclear weapons.
So recovery is harder than just rebuilding machines.
Much harder. They say recovery may be far more difficult and take far longer. The real strike here might actually be against their future innovation, their irreplaceable institutional memory, maybe even more than just their current physical capacity.
Okay, so with such a significant blow dealt, how is Iran reacting? What does this mean for their diplomatic stance? They're certainly not taking this lying down.
No, definitely not. They're threatening to significantly expand their nuclear program.
To deter sanctions.
To deter snapback sanctions, yes. We're seeing potential responses floated, like increasing uranium enrichment up to 90%.
Weapons grade.
Weapons grade, exactly. Deploying more advanced centrifuges, expanding R&D, developing uranium metal production chains.
Okay.
Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, Ismail Baqai, he stated Iran would deliver a proportionate and appropriate response if European signatories reinstate UN sanctions.
And their argument.
Their argument is that the U.S. and Israeli attacks have, quote, undermined the legal and political basis of that whole snapback mechanism. But a really critical concern now related to this is transparency, or the lack of it.
Because they can't get access.
Well, Iranian President Pezeshkian reported not being able to access damaged facilities, yes. But crucially, Iran has also suspended cooperation with the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency.
The nuclear watchdog. So no authoritative eyes on the program anymore.
Precisely. And without that vital oversight, the risks of misperception, well, they shoot up dramatically. It becomes much easier for Iran to hide any salvaged assets or, new developments.
That sounds dangerous.
It is. And if tensions keep ratcheting up, Iranian officials have even hinted at something that really shakes the whole international non-proliferation system.
Which
withdrawal from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT.
Wow. Okay. Leaving the NPT entirely.
Yeah. And stepping back, the big implication of an NPT withdrawal is, well, it eliminates the legal requirement for any IAEA safeguards.
So even less visibility.
Much less. It would make it, as one analysis put it, exceedingly more difficult to reliably detect whether Iran had made such a decision to go nuclear.
And the domino effect.
That's the fear. It could spur a proliferation domino, potentially leading states like Saudi Arabia to think, well, if Iran goes nuclear, maybe we should too.
And interestingly, this crisis seems to be making Iran rethink its alliances too.
It does seem that way. Reports indicate some real frustration with Russia's stance, specifically their cautious stance during the 12-day war.
Okay.
And this might be leading Iran to potentially prioritize deeper strategic ties with China instead.
Including military deals?
Discussions on military purchases, yes. And even potentially looking to China as a mediator for future nuclear talks with the U.S. A definite pivot.
Right. Meanwhile, you have the European E3 nations, France, the UK, Germany. They reportedly felt largely sidelined during the initial strikes. But now they're stepping back in, reasserting their role.
Yes, they are. The EU has put down a clear marker. They're saying they will reimpose sanctions on Iran by August 29, 2025. Unless Tehran takes firm, tangible, and verifiable steps to limit its nuclear program. Exactly. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot was very explicit. He said, without a firm, tangible, and verifiable commitment from Iran, the E3 will do so by the end of August at the latest.
No ambiguity there.
None at all. And what's particularly significant here, the tool they're talking about using, is the snapback provision.
From the 2015 nuclear deal, the JCPOA.
Correct. It's a really powerful mechanism. It allows any Western party to the deal to automatically reinstate previous UN Security Council sanctions if Iran violates its commitments.
Automatically.
Automatically. And it's legally binding. And here's a crucial detail. Powers like Russia, China, even the U.S., despite pulling out of the deal itself in 2018, they cannot veto the reimposition of these sanctions.
So no Security Council deadlock on this specific issue?
Not on triggering snapback, no.
Okay, so if it is triggered, what does snapback actually mean for Iran, practically speaking?
It means bringing back a full panoply of UN sanctions. We're talking bans on uranium enrichment, missile-related technology, conventional arms,
right,
plus asset freezes and travel bans for nearly 100 Iranian individuals and entities. And crucially, it would severely limit Iran's access to international loans, international investments, the only real exception being for humanitarian needs.
A major economic hit, then.
A very major hit. Now, delving into the strategic timing of all this, while the UN Resolution 2231 and its snapback mechanism technically expire on October 18, 2025, the effective deadline, the window to actually invoke snapback, is much sooner than that.
Why is that?
Well, it takes about 30 days for the whole UN process to play out, and you also need to consider having a favorable presidency of the UN Security Council at the time you trigger it.
Ah, political timing.
Exactly. So the U.S. has apparently encouraged the E3 to act much earlier, perhaps by April or May 2025, to really maximize their leverage before that final deadline looms.
Got it. This whole crisis, I mean, it clearly has huge implications for the wider global non-proliferation regime itself. It's bigger than just Iran.
Absolutely. In that broader context, this crisis really has the potential to inflict widespread damage on the international system that prevents the spread of nuclear weapons. That's the fear.
How so?
Well, some analyses suggest the strikes themselves, the military action, have actually undermined the legal, economic, and diplomatic means that we normally rely on for peaceful resolution.
Undercutting diplomacy.
Potentially, yeah. And then there's the IAEA, the world's nuclear watchdog. It faces its own challenges now. Iran pushing this narrative that the IAEA somehow bears blame for the strikes, that risks undermining the technical authority, credibility, and independence of the agency itself.
And if the IAEA is seen as, a tool of major powers, its ability to actually detect noncompliance gets severely hampered, right? That seems like a really dangerous precedent. Yeah.
It's incredibly dangerous. Reduced visibility into Iran's program combined with these heightened tensions, it just increases the likelihood of resumed hostilities.
Makes sense.
It could easily lead to worst-case assumptions about what Tehran is really up to, potentially escalating to, well, additional military strikes and perhaps all-out war.
So what are the pathways forward? How do you even start diplomatic solutions now?
Well, experts suggest a really critical challenge is securing some kind of credible commitment from the U.S. and Israel not to carry out further attacks on Iran.
Ah, a security guarantee.
Essentially, yes. Because think about it. If Iran doesn't truly believe that complying, that being transparent, will actually prevent future strikes, what incentive does it have to negotiate in good faith?
Very little, I imagine. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
What about other countries? What's their role in maybe trying to de-escalate or keep Iran inside the NPT?
Well, there's a call for countries, even those who oppose the strikes, to actively push back against Iran's narrative targeting the IAEA, to constantly reiterate the agency's independence and technical role.
Reinforce the watchdog.
Exactly. And European leaders in particular are being urged to take a leading role in diplomacy, finding ways to keep Iran within the NPT framework by finding clear, verifiable ways for Iran to demonstrate it's not seeking nuclear weapons, maybe shipping out its highly enriched uranium, for example.
Okay.
And at the same time, working to persuade the U.S. and Israel to offer those credible assurances we just talked about, assurances about ceasing military action if Iran complies. It's a two-sided coin.
Wow. This deep dive really shows you just how many intricate layers there are to this Iran nuclear crisis. You've got the direct impact of these highly targeted strikes on facilities, on expertise.
Yeah.
Then Iran's forceful responses, their diplomatic pivots towards China maybe, and the international community really trying to hold the line with these snapback sanctions.
What becomes really clear here is the incredibly fragile balance. It's a tightrope walk between military action, sustained diplomatic pressure, and fundamentally the core principles of nuclear non-proliferation.
Right.
And the consequences of every single move, they ripple far, far beyond just the immediate region. They really influence global stability as a whole.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something maybe to consider. In a world that's constantly striving for stability, how does this precise calibration or maybe miscalibration of pressure and diplomacy ultimately determine the future of nuclear proliferation?
Right.
Not just for Iran, but really for the entire global order.